Good morning, everyone. This is John for MTG Nexus, back here with another Izzet Phoenix video. This is Javier Dominguez's updated list from the MC with a sideboard guide he posted for several key matchups, including things like Hogak, Jund, Burn, etc. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a constructive comment down below, as we aim to become the most informative lightning bolt based channel here for Modern on YouTube. So, last week we had kind of a disappointing performance. Some of that is due to me not being terribly familiar with the Pyromancer's Ascension lists. This is a card that this is maybe the third league I've played with Ascension, and I don't think I've ever actually gotten a turn on Ascension yet. So, that said, we're running this list back to give it another chance, and it's also slightly updated with a couple of Vapor Snags. One in the main deck covering for an Hour of Promise, the other one in the sideboard taking the place of a Narset, I believe, from his PT list. Beyond that, the only other thing interesting was the 3 copies of Surgical Extraction, 4 copies of Leyline in the Void. If you happen to be viewing this in the future, this is in the middle of Hogak Summer here. Probably another week or so before Hogak gets banned. So, absurd amount of graveyard hate is kind of necessary. Beyond that, you just got the usual Phoenix and Thing in the Ice plans. Notable, when you're running Pyromancer's Ascension, you pretty much have to run all 4-0s with your cantrips. So no split on like Sleight of Hand and Opt. Beyond that, you got a couple 1-0s, Flame Slash, Lava Dart, Vapor Snag, and Magmatic Sinkhole. They all do different things. Flame Slash obviously is just a better bolt against certain creatures, things like Tarmogoyf and such. Lava Dart, pretty decent in the humans matchup. Beyond that, you find yourself boarding that out a lot. Also can be good against things like Elves and Merfolk and such, but a lot of times this card gets boarded out in a lot of matchups. And then Magmatic Sinkhole is kind of a answer to Mag Planeswalkers like Teferi, Jace, etc., while also being a way to remove something big like potentially a Tarmogoyf or something along those lines. Notable outside of the Vapor Snag, you do not have any hard answers to a hard cast Hogak, Thing in the Ice, and Vapor Snag kind of being your outs. That's why this card is included without including a third color splash for something like Path to Exile. Anyways, beyond that, let's get into some matches. Welcome back to match number 1, where unfortunately we'll be on the draw. Hand's fairly reasonable. We have both Thing in the Ice and Ascension and a Manamorphose potentially get us going. Arclight Phoenix is a card to draw, or a card to discard to a Faithless Looting should we find it. So, we'll give this hand a try, see how this hand pans out. Of course, we're immediately facing mono or blue-white control. Play that out. Maybe our opponent will tap out for something like a Search for Azcanta or something. Unlikely, but I think we have to try to jam a our best bet's to just try to jam the Ascension here. Hope to get a little bit lucky. The longer you wait, the more counter spells they have, so Ascension lands. Of course, they could have something like a Teferi to bounce it, or a Detention Sphere, so hopefully we just jam. It's not a terrible draw here. Jam Thing in the Ice. Be interesting if they counter this as opposed to Pyromancer's Ascension. So once again, Ascension's the more valuable threat in the matchup, hence why I jammed it. They have fewer cards that can potentially answer this. Good old Spell Snare, sure. Of course, that does open themselves back up to like a Snap Spell Snare, so Cryptic Command could be a heck of a card here. Let's go and go ahead and do this on end step. So opponent could be sitting on Cryptic Command, See if they do anything here. Cryptic commands in their 75. 3 Teferis. 1 D-Sphere, a couple forces, some Logic Knots, a couple Narsets, a bunch of Snapcaster Mages. Only 1 Surgical Extraction in the main. This looks like they are a little bit vulnerable to something like Hogak in the main deck. So, interesting to always see how the main deck of Blue-White evolves over time. Second copy of Spell Snare. It's interesting. So if they play one of their Planeswalkers and tick down on this, we get to Snare Thopter them. Hopefully they'll tick down on that. Flame Slash is pretty much a dead card here. Jace, sure. Question is, do you Fate Seal here, or do you Brainstorm? Alright. Interesting. Didn't see any Terminuses in their list, did we? So. Alright, so we chewed through 2 of their Planeswalkers. We'll get an Ascension next turn. And there's a Teferi, sure. Oh. This is not going to end well for you, friend. Find an answer to our Thopter. There, Thopter Snare. Fortunately, you did. So if we're out of combat here first. And alas, we're probably in a lot of trouble now. Kind of hoping to dodge a Path to Exile there. Sure. Interesting card to surgically extract. Guess that's the card most likely to turn on Ascension. Fortunately, the one thing we haven't seen a lot of here is a lot of cantrips, so sure, Colonnade. Put it with one card in hand. Doesn't change the math on the clock at all. It's kind of not the best threat in the world. It's possible I should be holding on to that Scalding Tarn for Faithless Looting. But in the end, I'm not sure it's going to matter here. We need to top deck something the next turn or two. Notably, they're not trying to answer the Ascension. This is where blue-white gets a little bit silly. Sure. Yep, that's just game. Alright, so on to sideboarding. Getting out the surgicals. I'm not 100% sure if I agree with that strategy, but we will go with what the guide says. Flame Slash, yeah, that makes sense. Lava Dart, and one copy of Thing in the Ice to bring in forces. Those. Fry, Aria Flame. Two Saheelis. This is his sideboard guide, but I tend to like to bring in Blood Moon in this style of matchup, and maybe trim a Bolt. Just because sometimes Blood Moon can get them if they're not 100% expecting it. Though, you know, they do have access to Fairy and all that stuff, so, you know. This hand's definitely a keep. Could be anything. These two sleight of hands could be anything. So, I think we keep this hand pretty easily. Use the first Scalding Tarn to get a Steam Vent, second one probably to get an island. You don't want to go too far on getting your basics out of your deck against the Field of Ruin Path to Exile deck. But at the same time, we do have Blood Moon in our deck, so we do want access to a basic island should we get them, manage to get them under Blood Moon. Not a huge play, but something to consider when you're, fetching in the early turns and you have Blood Moon in your deck. A lot less effective when you only have it as a one of, but it is something, especially on the play, that could potentially get them. So, and life total is generally not under a lot of assault by the blue-white control deck till later turns, so you want to be a little bit more free with grabbing your non-basics over your basics. Yep, Aria Flame. Constitute a card that we're interested in. Basic island, huh? I guess we take Thing in the Ice. It's not the best threat in this matchup, but it's decent at least. So looks like they're at least moderately cognizant of the threat of Blood Moon here. Do I even care about Rest in Peace? I don't think so. I mean, we do to a certain degree. They have Force of Negation here. This is going to kind of suck. Yep. Pitching to Fairy Time Raveler. It's possible I should have just jammed Thing in the Ice first instead. Especially when they have another Teferi Time Raveler. Should I have fought over that Rest in Peace? Maybe. Sure. Fortunately, we are behind here. Hopefully they just go for Teferi. Alright. So we're both on 0 resources. Once again, these scries may not be worth a ton because of these Field of Ruins. Yeah, may as well play this out, I guess. So we'll deleting in our hand. The odds of this resolving aren't going to really increase, so... Wow, resolved. I'm kind of shocked. That's unfortunate. Yep. Assumption's not worth really a whole lot in this situation. Sure. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yep. Probably blue-white control decks game to win now. They have both Cryptic Command to kind of cover them against anything, and a Lyra to close out the game. I mean, Fry is somewhat something, I guess. Could Cryptic bounce this potentially, I guess. Yep, and immediately get to replay it. Whole lot of non-cantripping going on here. Was ready to concede there. I mean, we're still, like, extremely unfavored to win from this point. Makes me wonder what their hand is. Sure. Pass turn. Yep, unfortunately Snapcaster might be enough here. Yep. So, good games to our opponent. Unfortunately, blue-white is one of many matchups that just feels like Arclight Phoenix is too far behind at this point. Don't think there's any glaring play mistakes this time around. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Maybe outside maybe the Fry play for the Lyra. Let me know if there's anything else maybe that I missed. Maybe should have waited until opponent tap low, but they really had no reason to tap low. But outside of that, let me know if there's any playlines or anything that I may have missed here that could have given us a better chance against blue-white control, but this just feels like a pretty rough matchup at this point for Arclight Phoenix. But let's get into match number 2. Hey, we're back for match number 2. We'll be on the play this time, which is usually pretty huge in Modern. Well, this hand's pretty decent. We have a kind of a thing in the ice hand, so go ahead and keep this hand. Let's probably play a tap Steam Vents on one. Don't think it's highly likely we'll want a Thought Scour on anything here. But mulliganing to 6. Mulligans to 5. So, opponent aggressively mulliganing. There's 2 or 3 decks that come to mind when an opponent aggressively mulligans. Hogak, Tron, and Neoform combo. And that almost makes me tempted to do something crazy like Thought Scour, hope to hit a Tron land, surgically extract them. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play Steam Vents and pass. Hope to get lucky here. Eldrazi, huh? Still gonna surgically extract their Eldrazi temples. That's a little bit lucky on our part. Unfortunately, they do have a chalice in hand. And a dismember for our thing in the ice here. So despite getting tremendously lucky, we are probably very behind in this game. Really need to draw another thing in the ice, or... Aria's a way we can win this game. Please just be Chalice on too. Yeah, sure. Last card in hand's an Endbringer. Thought Nazi really doesn't get anything other than a spell, and it's a clock, I suppose. That's a problem. Means we're most likely just dead here. Swear I have a sign on me that says, "Find me my difficult matchups." Doesn't matter if I'm playing Burn or Phoenix lately. Alright, so got a little bit lucky with Surgical, but generally Surgical is not very good in this matchup. Board's out Vapor Stag. Interesting. Those are 6 cards, or 3, 4, 5. Board's out Flame Slash. I don't know if I agree with the whole boards out Flame Slash thing. That and Vapor Snag for that matter. Boards an Aria, boards an Inger, boards an Abrade. I think I'd sooner go down a Bolt than a Flame Slash. Almost feels like we should be bringing in Saheeli too. But not going to make too many changes to his board plan, but Saheeli is pretty decent against a lot of their threats, other than Smasher itself. Ugh. I mean, I guess we try to keep this one. Leyline in the Void, sure. Mm-hmm. Let's pitch the bolt here. So if we hit a land here, we could potentially screw them off their colors. Hopefully they don't have TKS. Doesn't look like they do. Nice. Sure. Hopefully they don't have Chalice here. We're just on the try to kill you with Aria Flame plan. Alright, got there in game number 2 because our opponent didn't fetch around Blood Moon. So it looks like our opponent's going to aggressively mulligan towards Leyline, so let's bring that out. Maybe bring the Vapor Snags? Yeah, I guess the Healy is probably our next best threat. Spell Pierce? Sure. Sure. Some ways that's very unfortunate, but They're going to have Tron no matter what next turn, so it's really hard to beat the 7-card Tron plus Leyline hand. Yep. Probably too late to the party, but maybe they don't have an answer. Walking Ballista. Yeah, with them having an answer to Thing in the Ice, we pretty much have no hope of winning this game, but it's really hard to beat the... And they keep 7 here. Yep, they kept 7 with ability to access Tron and Leyline. Just not something we can frequently beat, even though their deck doesn't have the best Tron payoffs. Anyways, we'll be back with match number 3. Hey, we're back with match number 3. An interesting choice on our hands. This hand's got the triple threat hand, couple cantrips. Pretty sure we keep this hand. Oh, mirror match. Delightful. Well, potential mirror match. Could be Twiddle Storm, too. It's the mirror match. We'll go for Ascension. Of course, I guess we don't really know which one it is at the moment, so go with Ascension. Harder to answer permanent. Most likely the Phoenix Mirror. Yep. pitch. Dart and Phoenix. Go ahead and bolt your bolt your face, bring back the Phoenix. Kind of clunk is in their hand. So they didn't have enough spells to play Get Back Phoenix last turn. Or maybe they were just setting up for more Phoenixes, I don't know. So I think next turn we're priced into most likely Thing in the Ice plus... Sure. Wow. Now there's a very real possibility. I guess if they have Bolt, we're pricing the blocking here. But if they flip this thing, this Arclight Phoenix isn't doing anything anyway. One, two, three, four. Yeah, we can guaranteed flip the things next turn. So as long as we survive this turn, I'm pretty sure we can win this game. So 8. Yeah. We have enough as long as we survive this turn that we should be able to win next turn. By flashing back Lava Dart to the face, that'll put them to 10. One of these things on the ice will likely get through. And then... This feels like a magmatic explosion. Of course it is. Stab Bolt here to survive. If they don't, they're just dead. And we got there. Sweet. Alrighty, mirror match time. Get these bolts out of our deck. Get the Lava Dart out of our deck. Bring in Vapor Snag, couple Spell Pierces, Fry, and Aria of Flame, Force of Negation here. This is like the one matchup where you do kind of miss having a Nurse set. It's interesting because a lot of times I've observed other Phoenix players will bring in Leyline of the Void against the mirror match, and yet both Tariq and Javier think it's incorrect. So that kind of leads me to believe that you're not supposed to bring in Leyline of the Void in the mirror match. Now, we did show them Pyromancer's Ascension, which obviously kind of throws off the math a little bit, but still feels like that's incorrect to bring in Leyline. Been an interesting league so far. Like, played against Tron, or Eldrazi Tron, blue-white, and now the mirror match. So, it's like almost the complete opposite of like my Burn League earlier this week, where we played like a bunch of like off the beaten path decks. Like we played against Twiddle Storm, Regular Storm, Neoform combo. I don't even remember what else. Just been a really weird time for me with decks and leagues lately. A little bit land heavy. Still don't hate having Vapor Snag here, so maybe I'm supposed to mulligan the sand, but I think we'll keep it in the dark. So no Leyline, that's a good sign. Thing in the Ice, Thoughtscour. I think I'm in the market for both those cards. Though, do I think Thing in the Ice will necessarily survive? And have we drawn too many lands because I kept a land-heavy hand? Absolutely. Okay. So we're going for the fast Phoenix draw here. Spewing a lot of resources for not a whole lot of anything. Oh, they targeted me. Gotcha. Probably not correct to Faithless Looting here, but we've got so many land... Ooh, yeah. Hopefully they don't have Surgical Extraction. If they do, they do. I mean, it's kind of whatever. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Nice, nice. So... Bring in Dispel. Please don't have Surgical. Please don't have Surgical. Hopefully they don't flip thing this turn. Just get cute and wait until my turn, please. That's unfortunate. So what draws could possibly lead us to not dying to something like a lightning bolt here? It's going to put them to 9, put them to 3. We don't have any bolts in our deck to draw to. We need to hit something like Surgical Extraction here to flop these piggies back into play this turn. I still think Faithless Looting is the correct play here. I think we just hold up Spell Pierce this turn. Kind of try to protect ourselves from a bolt or something if they go cantrip heavy. Sure. I mean, if they got Bolt, we're dead anyway, so see what you got. Finale of Promise, Magmatic Sinkhole, Spell Pierce, Surgical Extraction. So Void Snare, Thing in the Ice, Surgicals, Finales, Narsets, Crackling Drake, Rav Trap, alright, so we are dead here pretty much. Change how I want to sideboard. Probably not. I mean, bolts can still potentially hit Narsets. But being on the play... I think our misplay was not playing Fry instead of Vapor Snag. I think if we would have done that, we would have been in a lot better shape. because they wouldn't have been able to force of negation it, and I think those Phoenixes most likely would have been able to run away with the game. So that was my misplay, or mischoice, I guess. Wasn't really expecting them to have force of negation there, honestly, but yeah, it is a card I could have potentially played around and didn't, so that game loss was definitely on my choice of not playing Fry over Vapor Snag there. This hand's fine. Like, it's not amazing, but we've got turn 2 thing. Reasonable chance to flip it on 3. Manamorphose plus a couple of castable spells, potentially. Vapor Snag, obviously, dependent on them having Thing in the Ice or Arclight Phoenix in play. Or even Crackling Drake, potentially. Thing in the Ice, go. Sure. I think denying us the card there. Alright, so opponent's going to have all the information of Manamorphoses, that's fine. I think that's a really aggressive use of Surgical Extraction there. I forgot to play my land last turn. That was dumb on my part. Planning on jamming Narset here. Of course they are. That would explain their terrible line of play. Should have played my land last turn. That would enable us to top deck a land potentially to do the thing. Three, 4. That'd be card number 3. Card number. So that'd be 3 and 3. Is that enough? What am I surgically extracting here? There's surgical extraction potentially. So 1, 2. That'd be card 3 and 3 mana. I'll blow this up. Is that worth it, though? Put this on 1 counter. No, that's not quite enough cards. My math is terrible today. No, that's the third card. See what kind of garbage they're working with over there. Wow. Another surgical extraction, magmatic sinkhole, rav trap. So our thing in the ice is dying this turn, pretty much regardless of what we do. And then, yeah, they don't have any bolts in their deck either. Forgot to take the one out of the graveyard, which could be relevant here if they find a copy of. Yeah, it's gonna be relevant in terms of them feeling the magmatic explosion too. And I would have been able to hold up Vapor Snag to protect it. Lots of little mistakes here. Not playing our land drop last turn when we enabled Arclight Phoenix to kill that, instead of having to spend actual resources. Go Snare Thopter. You can get there, little buddy. Sure. Just tapping my lands. Sure. Sure. Not really anything in my graveyard I particularly care about. Okay. Let's let this losing resolve, I guess. Two Arclight Phoenixes, unfortunate. Hopefully they don't have something to fight over this with. Alright, and we got there. Man, what a close matchup. Alright, we'll be back in a bit with match number 4. We are back for match number 4. We'll be on the play this time, which is just awesome. I don't know about this hand, man. Got a couple pieces of interaction, a Thought Scour, a Surgical Extraction. Not a whole lot else going on. I think we keep it just because, but the Thought Scour really needs to kind of bail us a little bit. Snow-covered island. Not what I like to see here. Hopefully this is not another blue-white control matchup. No, it's not. Need to get a little bit lucky there with the Surgical Extraction. Try to take them off of white here. They are stuck on lands. This is definitely a Thopter Sword combo, not surprising. Another Ichor Wellspring. Snow-covered plains, vistas. Did I put out a sign that says I want to play like every difficult Phoenix matchup? Because I think I'm getting there. Sure. You old cast my snare Thopter, go. Oh man. Brutal. Sai is annoying, but I think I'm far more interested in killing Urza. So, or surgical extracting Urza. Alright, moving along. So, that card. Definitely interested in the Spell Pierces. Definitely interested in the Fry, the Force of Negation, the Braid. Probably the Saheeli's. Surgical extractions, for the most part, are garbage. Paper Snag, not ideal in this matchup. Lava Dart, not ideal. Flame Slash, not ideal. Actually, Slash is fine. It deals with both on a one-for-one basis. And I guess we trim the bolts. Go ahead. Interesting. So, things get a little awkward for us here because we only have one blue source. Snaring Bridge could come down next turn. I think I'm priced into hoping to hit a land here. Hopefully they don't have bridge here, but if they do, they do. Guess we switch to the Aria Flame plan at that point. Hope they don't have the combo. Black-white. This is the Thopter Foundry. Black-black. Leyline of the Void? Sure. Urza, that's not a bad set of mills there. So whatever they're doing this turn is going to be tight on mana. Interesting. Yep. Don't think I want to deploy Aria Flame here. Cage sure is kind of whatever. Seems like a very bizarre inclusion in their deck. Sure. Spell Pierce even matter at this point? 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably getting at the point where it doesn't matter terribly much. I mean, if they want to trade off resources, I'm happy trading off resources here. Can we kill them this turn? Hopefully they don't have Sword of the Meek. I actually didn't want to draw that Spire Bluff. That was kind of a foolish thing on my part. Interesting to see what our opponent's tanking about over there. So that would put them to 12. Probably could have killed them this turn, now that I'm looking at it. Thopter Soundry, not really relevant here. You're gonna kill Saheeli? Sure. Problem becomes is you're just dead to Ario Flame. change how we sideboard. Showing us Leyline the Void, so those can probably come out. I mean, they have the Thopter Sword combo in their deck, which I'm not discounting. But they have shown us many other ways to win the game, so is Leyline something that I'm interested in, just to keep them from having infinite damage? Could bring back in Surgical Extractions, potentially hit them from the combo, but that seems a little loose. Maybe I'm just supposed to bring back in a couple of extractions. And we have a plan. The problem is we have a lot of chances to miss on land drops. So, is this a keepable hand? I think so, simply because of Aria Flames. It keeps 7, sure. Hopefully they do something dumb here, like jam Thopter Foundry. I think that's a good enough target just to Spell Pierce, because Spell Pierce loses value over the game anyway, so... don't think they're going to have a copy of Surgical Extraction here, so I think I'm willing to play that out like that. Being mindful of Blood Moon, good for them. Pitch land and land. Mm-hmm. have another Thopter Foundry, I suppose. So can we deal with everything here? Puts us to 2. Bounce the Arclight back to our hand, which sucks. Let's go ahead and see. So Wear Tear, Urza, and Gear 4 Ether Grid. Let's go ahead and snip this so we have some idea of what's. Let's spread this out first so I have some idea of what's going on. They only have that one ensnaring bridge, don't they? Alright, let's shift that over there. This thing, kill your bridge, kill your Teferi. Sure. So even if they're able to play Urza this turn, we have them on a 2-turn clock. We know they have the Ether Grid, Urza, Wear Tear. Sure. And opponent scoops. Oh, got there against Urza. So 2-2 on to match number 5. We are back for our 5th and final match. No cantrips, but a lot of payoffs in hand, so I think this is a keep. Scalding Tarn and pass. Just play on playing a Thing in the Ice or Ascension, depending on what we see here. Mirror match again. Appears to be the mirror match again. Could still be potentially Tittle Twiddle Storm, whatever you want to call it. So 1 card on top, 1 card on bottom. Alright, a Flame is certainly a card I'm probably interested in, but at the same time, our hand is very threat heavy, not a whole lot of cantrips going on. Yep. for a Phoenix turn here. Hooked on Phoenix. Hopefully you don't have the Faithless Looting to follow up. You do not. Sweet. Now we have a decision to make. We have seen a lot of cards. Sure. There's like a lot of resource spending here. Vapor Snag just to save it. Things in the ice can be drawn one game and be happy about it? Answer, not many. Yep, means we gotta get a move on this turn. Really, what am I looking for here? Hoping and wishing and praying for some cantrips and hoping we get there next turn. Could very easily die to this Aria Flame. So after spewing all those resources, they still have a bunch of stuff going on. Okay. Crackling Drake? And yeah, that's a thing. Could definitely die this turn. Okay. Come on, deck, give me a cantrip chain, please. Okay, sure. Am I dead? Wow. Alrighty then. This was very anticlimactic. pierces, snag, the fry, and the aria. Can I realistically keep this one land hand? Especially when our cantrip is Thought Scour. Sure, I guess. Don't think I can afford to fight over that there. Awkward hand now. Yep. What else am I going to play here, right? I mean, there's definitely a decent chance we die here, so... Yep, we just died Aria Flame. Mildly disappointing league, especially to lose in the mirror there at the end, but nice to rally back for a 2-3 despite the difficulty of the league. Not a whole lot to say about this list. The list feels a little bit cleaner now that there's somewhat of a sideboard guide for what he's trying to execute. I still don't know how I feel about Pyromancer's Ascension. I honestly still feel Aria Flame is the better card. Just the fact that it's a clear clock. Ascension kind of requires you to have lightning bolts in your deck for it to be really good. I mean, yeah, it can accrue you a ton of value, and if our opponent didn't find another land in their last cantrip there, we would have been able to like double Vapor Snag their Phoenixes and then just have them lethal, but you know, that's what happens sometimes in the mirror match. But beyond that, list seems pretty reasonable. These Leyline the Voids, obviously this is the hedge against Togak right now, so free up other slots, you know, like another Blood Moon, maybe a Narset or something, but list felt pretty reasonable this time around. Did play a lot of rough matchups. Like if you wanted to gauge, like outside of like maybe playing True Tron, we played Eldrazi Tron, Blue Eye Control, the Mirror twice, Urza Thopter Sword. I mean, that's quite the gauntlet to fight through. And it's kind of funny because, like, you know, as you're playing these decks, like, you look at the various decks like I have access to. Burn, this kind of league, Burn would have been like, okay, yes, I want to play blue-white. Yes, I want to play 2 copies of Izzet Phoenix. Years of Thopter Sword matchup seems reasonable. I haven't had any success in it, but the numbers seem to indicate Burn's a pretty reasonable matchup. And then Eldrazi Tron, obviously that's a close matchup for Burn, but probably favorable in Etron's favor, much like it is for against Izzet Phoenix. So, very interesting league. Javier's list seems very good, especially now that I have some idea of how to sideboard with it. So, props to Javier for getting a sideboard guide out, and this list has been very solid. Unfortunately, we did run into another tough league, but as always, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing. Give us a thumbs up, leave me a constructive comment down below. And that's going to wrap up Izzet Phoenix this week for our league. This has been John for MTG Nexus. Hope you all have a great day.